As all of us Eagle fans try to figure out what the Eagles are going to do at 10 and 30, could Howie Roseman be planning to take this draft nuclear? Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and hope everybody's having a great weekend. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. You know, I have heard pretty much every possible scenario. I've thought about every possible scenario that could happen with the Philadelphia Eagles. But the one thing we haven't talked about, the one possibility people want to know about is, what if Howie Roseman says, forget this, I'm going nuclear, and decides to pull off the trades, the mother of all trades. Now, we're going to get into it in a second, but before we do that, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It truly, truly means a lot to me. Your support has been unwavering, and for that, I thank you guys. Also, if you guys want to get Bijan Robinson in the draft, if he is your guy that you're hoping for, then you need to join the movement. You need to join the Draft 5 movement, because we are coming together as Eagle fans. We all bleed green, and we are pushing, we are hoping, we are trying to make it happen where the Eagles will take Bijan Robinson. That's why we have these beautiful Draft 5 hats. Now, we've got a couple styles of them. We've got the trucker hat, which a lot of people like. That has like a screen type print on to it, and then we have the embroidered, which is like stitched, a little more, you know, a little more premium. It's the one I like. I'm still waiting for mine, but it's absolutely a beautiful hat. And we also have t-shirts. These things have been doing really, really well. I really have been surprised with the amount of people that really believe that the Eagles need to get Bijan Robinson. And if you still want to get in on it, you want to get your hat before the draft, click the link in the description and make sure to go get yours pre-ordered today. Reserve it, because it's going to be an epic night when we're streaming live and that 10th pick comes up. It could say Bijan Robinson, and I'm gonna actually talk about that in another video, because I have some things building up with the whole Bijan situation. But we'll talk about that later. But check out the link in the description. What I want to talk to you guys about in this video is really speculation. It's really just an idea. It's something that has actually been kind of requested for the last week for me to talk about, because people have noticed that when I talk about my top 3 overall players, the guy I have at the top of the list is Will Anderson Jr. That is the guy who I think is the best player in the draft, especially for the Eagles. I'm not really counting the quarterbacks, because the Eagles don't need a quarterback. However, when I look at the players of who would be the best player for the Eagles in the draft to get, I think Will Anderson Jr. would be number 1. However, the problem is he's that good, and he is going to go probably number 3 to the Arizona Cardinals. So people have been asking me, yo, Philly, how could we possibly get Will Anderson Jr.? Do we have to get really lucky that he somehow falls or something like that? We've talked about, if Arizona was a trade out of that position and like another team comes in to jump the Colts and draft a quarterback, that could help you potentially a little bit. But what if this? What if Howie Roseman is sitting there, and I've been thinking about this, and I'm going to throw this out there to you guys. I want to see your reaction. I want to see if you would do this. But I seriously would have to think about this. I may do this, okay? I'd have to think about this. I'm not 100%, but I'm 50-50. I'm debating this. But what if the Eagles said this? All right, Jonathan Gannon, Arizona Cardinals, you are obviously more than one player away in this, from competing for a Super Bowl. You're going to take you a while. You need multiple players. What if we trade our 10th pick overall and our 30th pick overall, and let's say we'll even throw in a late pick next year, a mid pick next year, for the 3rd pick in the draft? What if the Eagles traded both their first round picks to move from 10 to 3 with the Arizona Cardinals? Now, the Arizona Cardinals would then have 2 first round picks. They would still be picking in the top 10. And this could be a great move for the Arizona Cardinals for their own selves because they need more than one player. Whereas for the Eagles, I think the Eagles, you just get one player, 2 players, you're ready to go back to the Super Bowl. The Eagles are already going to compete next year for a Super Bowl regardless. Why not do it? I have to strongly think about that. And then the Eagles trade up to 3, and they take Will Anderson Jr. You would not have both your picks, but you would get Will Anderson Jr., who, to me, is going to be an absolute stud for years and years to come. Now, you may be saying, well, what would this cost the Philadelphia Eagles? What would it cost in terms of salary cap, right? We only have so much money. I think we have like $21 million under the cap right now, but what would it cost us? And here's a look at why I think this could work, especially from a cap perspective. If you look at Derek Stingley Jr. was taken 3rd overall last year by the Houston Texans. Here's the contract he signed. So Derek Stingley signed a 4-year, $34.6 million deal with $22.3 million in a signing bonus. Salary $705,000, $870,000, $985,000, $1.1 million, plus 23, 24, 25 roster bonuses of $1.4 million, 2.8, 4.3. So that was basically his contract. And all those numbers amount to this. His cap number, his rookie year, was $6.3 million. Okay, that's all he was against the cap for the number 3rd overall pick. In 2023, this upcoming year, his cap number will be $7.8 million. And then 2024, $9.4 million. It's not until year 4 that he actually hits $10 million. So if the Eagles were to do that, it would cost them about $7 million against the cap. Now, here's the thing. The Eagles have the 10th pick and the 30th pick. How much do both of those picks combined cost you in salary cap? Well, we know that Garrett Wilson signed a contract last year. Let me see if I have his contract. I have his cap number here. So basically, he signed a contract last year. Garrett Wilson, the receiver for the Jets, he was drafted at number 10. His cap number last year at 10 was $3.7 million. That's what he was against the cap. 2023, he's going to be $4.6 million against the cap. 2024, 5.6. 2025, 6.5. Can you see, and I'm going to talk about this later, but in another video, but can you see how cheap the 10th pick overall is from the Eagles' perspective? Okay? Just keep that in mind for later, all right? All right? So that's what it would cost you. Now, the 30th pick in the draft would cost you about $2.2 to $2.5 million against the cap. So if you get the 10th pick and the 30th pick, that's about $7 million in cap that the Eagles are going to have to pay this year for 2 draft picks. So for 2 number 1s, it's going to be about $7 million total in cap space, $7 to $8 million in cap space. That's the same as the number 3rd pick overall is getting cap space. So you see, by going up and getting the 3rd pick in the draft, it's not going to hurt you or do anything in terms of your cap space because you would be giving up the 10th pick and the 30th pick. So it negates itself. So there's no issue from that point of view. The issues would be this. One, does the Arizona Cardinals actually want to trade the 3rd pick? Are they happy to stay where they're at and get Will Anderson Jr.? Jonathan Gannon, after all, is a defensive coach. So he may want to stay there and not move down. I haven't heard a whole lot about the Arizona Cardinals trading back in this draft. I got to think they would be at least open to discussions. But most of those teams that they talk to probably are calling about a quarterback. And then the other thing is what do the Eagles, how do the Eagles themselves view Will Anderson Jr.? Do they view him as a generational type building foundational piece that you want to build through for years to come? They may. I think he's going to be very, very good And I think the Eagles, if given a possibility or opportunity to get him, I think the Eagles would absolutely love to. Remember, you have Derek Barnett. He stinks. You have Brandon Graham, one more year left on his deal, and then he's gone. And then you still have Josh Sweat. You're going to have to address the defensive end position no matter what. You're going to have to get somebody else in here. And he may be the perfect guy. Now, if you get a Will Anderson Jr. and you're only paying him, $7 million in cap space a year, that's pretty damn good. I mean, that is really, really good for for having a guy who should be as good as he is going to be. And then, of course, he's a guy you definitely resign and you look to give him a second contract down the road. But by that time, your cap space and your cap situation should be way different because Jalen Hurts' contract by that time would actually be a benefit. You got to wonder what the Eagles want to do. They do have two first round picks. They could use it and trade up. Nobody talks about trading up. We only talk about trading back. For some reason, I think a lot of us Eagles fans, we're in this mentality that we need more than one player. We need multiple players. That's the line of thinking to me that you have when you're a team that is a few years from competing. When you're a team that can go win the Super Bowl this coming year, you've got to think in narrower terms. And to me, you only need to plug one or two players in, and I think it puts you over the top. Right now, if you look at the NFC, it's weak. I think the Eagles are already going to go out and they're going to compete for a Super Bowl anyways. So Will Anderson Jr. may be just the kind of guy that puts you over the top. That's why a guy like Bijan Robinson is a guy that could put you over the top. The Eagles, in my opinion, although it would be nice to go out and have all these draft picks and get all these players, okay, and then hope that you hit on every one of those players. The Eagles don't need that. The Eagles need one or two players to plug in, and they're ready to go. They're ready to go back to the Super Bowl. And that's how we got to think of it. To me, the trading back thing is always about getting multiple players because you have multiple holes and you're not really ready yet. You're not really there. So to me, a team like Arizona, it makes way more sense for them to trade back than a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles should be content to stay at 10 or to trade up, unless they get some ridiculous offer that you can't resist. The reasons they had two first-round picks this year was because they weren't sure what they were getting from Jalen Hurts. They wanted to have just in case they needed to get a quarterback. It was an insurance policy. So if you needed a quarterback, they would have some ammo to go up and get a quarterback. That's what they were thinking when they got that second first-round pick. When they traded their first pick last year to get another first-round pick this year, that was it, because they wanted to have insurance in case it didn't work out the quarterback situation. Well, it did, so the Eagles don't have to worry about that. Now they've got to find that one or two missing pieces, and they're ready to go win the Super Bowl. So I think the Eagles should definitely look at trading up. Would I do this? I got to think about it. I probably would. If Arizona came to me and said 2 first-round picks, trade up to get Will Anderson Jr., I'd do it probably in a second. I'm not going to lie. With that said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. I did not fall for any of the April Fool's crap yesterday. None of it. My brother, they nailed him. They nailed him. He was texting me, Eagles got Zeke Elliott. Eagles got Zeke Elliott, because of the post that was on Twitter. And I'm like, nah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. This post, he saw it, and he said, they got Zeke Elliott. I'm like, they didn't get Zeke Elliott. What are you talking about? Look at this guy. He ain't ready to go. I stayed away. I kind of just stayed away from Twitter. I usually do stay away from Twitter anyways, but I especially stayed away on April 1st, April Fools. I didn't buy it one bit. The people really bought that Ezekiel Elliott one. That was a good one, no doubt about it. With that said, Denzel Washington out.